I'm Allendale's chief meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at your midday weather update. Latest check of our surface analysis across the middle of the country shows that we've got a frontal boundary complex working through. The low pressure associated with this frontal complex actually sits up over the upper peninsula of Michigan, moving out of Wisconsin. Frontal complex kind of sneaks down through near Lake Michigan. Cold front comes out of that across northern parts of Missouri and into the central plains. Warm front also lifting through. It looks like we're going to be dealing with one more push of cool air behind that cold front over the western Corn Belt. However, you go farther west, we're already starting to see temperatures moderate as we see winds take on a more southerly direction. The latest model information into us at this hour really doesn't show a whole lot of change. As we were kind of taking a look at things earlier today, we were zeroing in on a couple of weather systems that are going to be moving through in the next week and a half or so. First one coming through here this weekend looks like it's going to be all rain. Temperatures are going to moderate actually quite quickly. Yeah, I'm still skeptical on the scope of the upper end of the moderation. I've seen some forecasts out there, and there even is some model data that would suggest maybe we'll see temperatures try and climb, for example, into the upper 50s and low 60s across parts of the central to eastern Corn Belt, especially down closer to I-70. You know, I guess I won't completely rule that out, but I'd like a little bit more muted approach. I think if we see that kind of warm-up, honestly, with the frontal boundary coming through, we may have to open the door up to a lot more convection, a lot more thunderstorm activity. And at this point, I guess I just don't see that. So I prefer a little bit more conservative approach to the warm-up, but I'll be the first one to tell you, too, yeah, over what we've seen the past week to week and a half, it's going to feel an awful lot warmer as we go through this weekend and into early next week. I still like rain totals out of this frontal complex as it moves from basically Texas, East Texas, right on up through the heart of the Corn Belt. I like rain totals in that 1/2 to 1 1/4 inch range. We'll probably see a few 1.5 inch areas, especially in the lower Missouri Valley, mid-Mississippi Valley, maybe. That's where we can see some heavier rains. But we're going to be seeing this move through from Saturday probably into early Monday morning. As the low then slows, as it gets up into the northern lakes, I think we're going to be seeing some wraparound moisture and cloud cover plague the Great Lakes region and maybe a good part of the Corn Belt through Tuesday as well. So it's not going to be a sharp clear after that. But then as we go toward the Thanksgiving Day holiday, we should see some slightly drier air. Also then looking at another weather system now that's starting to work into the forecast picture for around Black Friday. I think this could be another decent rainmaker. And notice we are still talking rain at this point. Temperatures nearly normal, 40s. Low 50s in parts of the Corn Belt, but definitely 40s. It's going to be liquid precipitation for Black Friday. So we're talking day after Thanksgiving and on into Saturday. I like coverage about 80% out of that system, and we could see another, 1/2 to 1.5 inches of rain there. So good moisture coming. If you've still got some harvest left to do, we probably ought to try and get at it as hard as possible because liquid rain coming in after the cold air. We're looking at, ground not frozen exceptionally deep, of course, but we're having some snow left over in spots. To me, it just looks like it's going to become a sloppy mess pretty quick with moisture in here from now through December 1st. After that, we're going to be looking at some drier weather in for that first few days of December. Get into the 7th and 8th, I see another weather system trying to emerge, and honestly, I'm looking at a fairly active weather system, weather pattern, I guess we should say, through the month of December. So that first system, the GFS is the biggest one on the bandwagon with it, and I don't necessarily like that. But at the same time, if my thought process for December is right, and we're going to be seeing an active pattern, well, we got to start it somewhere. So we'll keep an eye on that system for the 5th and 6th as well. South America looks real interesting to me. I've watched several different model animations here over the past few hours, and what we're seeing, and we kind of touched on this on our quick hit headlines this morning, what we're seeing here is no real significant frontal boundary action. A lot of times we get into the thought process that, the way we get moisture is we have a cold front come through. Cold front comes through, it rains, low pressure, blah, 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 off we go. What we're seeing, especially in Brazil, is just pop-up moisture with a stream of moisture off of the Atlantic Ocean coming across a good chunk of Brazil. We have two fronts that are going to kind of play into this in the weeks ahead. But generally speaking, this is not big-time frontal boundary action. The next two fronts do pop up starting in Argentina and move north, so we are going to be seeing decent rains in Argentina as well. There is some argument out there in terms of where the heaviest rains have fallen and where the rains are going to be falling in the days ahead. I'm seeing more dry areas emerging in Argentina, or drier, but there are still some reported wet spots as well in the northern parts of Buenos Aires province and into Cordoba. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Generally speaking, though, I'd have to classify these rains in South America as timely and the rains in Brazil as fairly constant. Got a chance of rain in the forecast over a good part of that central north area of Brazil, Mato Grosso, Goiás, Bahia, and then south through Mato Grosso do Sul, Paraná, and Sao Paulo. Got rain in the forecast there almost every day. Does that mean it is going to rain every day and we're really going to stack it up? No, not necessarily. Again, because we're not talking about a front parking over the area. I think this is going to be a situation where we see moisture ebb and flow in spots, but good coverage, good moisture over the next 2 weeks should continue to lead to decent crop growth and development conditions there. Temperatures definitely stepping down just a little bit with more cloud cover and possible moisture. We're going to take those temperatures back down closer to normal for this time of year. That's what we've got in your forecast update at midday. If you've got any questions on the weather, give us a call at Allendale. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.